Nebraska now being charted to play 11 games in 24 days to get caught up. Haven't heard a thing yet about Michigan, which also is down 11 games to go in the Big Ten. Just what's your thought? Are you hearing, are they going to try and get them all in? And barring that, if some teams only play 17 or 18 games, is everybody on board to accept that it's percentage prevails and that's what it'll be, or and move on with the conference tournament, or what are you hearing?
No, those are all valid questions. I'll be honest with you, Steve. I've not went down that road yet and tried to get garner information on that. I think if it's something here in the next week or two that relates to us specifically, then I think we may address it then.
Yeah, I didn't want to predispose that you were in the race or anything like that. But
no, I understand. Yeah, I understand your curiosity about it, and I just haven't had those conversations. I haven't taken the initiative to make those.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Brendan, next up, Brendan Gulick.
Hey, Chris, was wondering how maybe you've been able to use a little bit of these extra days between games to try to get a little bit healthier, because I know that's been a big focal point for you. I realized that maybe the first half of the season, first 2/3 of the season, it felt like it was definitely 2 games a week, and now you've been able to use a few off days here and there.
Yeah, we tried to mix it up a little bit, Brendan, with some skill along with practice. So we have tried to mix it up a little bit. We've had some guys out of practice, as I've mentioned a number of times. Guys have not been able to go 3 straight days of practice or workouts leading into a game. They just physically, a couple of them have not been able to do that. Most of them have, but some key guys have not been able to.
I know we tend to ask you a lot about Michi because he's new and he's around and he's obviously making an impact for you. But now that he's been here for a good 6 to 8 weeks, what most impresses you about his willingness to be open to what you guys are trying to teach him, to his new teammates, to his situation, all of that?
Yeah, I think he's a great kid. He's a great kid, and he wants to learn. And he also has looked at this in a lot of ways. I think when we came here and said, "How does this best prepare me for next year?" It's not that he can't help our team this year. Clearly, he has. There's no question about that. He's helped our team in a lot of ways. Helped our team in games in a lot of ways. But he's also looked at it. Okay, well, how can this best help me and help our team going into his quote unquote full freshman year?
I think we have another question on Michi. Patrick?
Yeah. Hey, Chris, I just kind of going off that. When you look at Michi, I mean, the fact that he's been able to assimilate so quickly just in a few months here, what kind of upside does a player like that have when he's already been able to give you guys such productive minutes and he just got on campus in December?
Yeah, I think it's been phenomenal. I give him a lot of credit. His growth, his maturity as a person, as a young kid, it's been phenomenal. And I think he also has to understand, the reality is there'll be games where he'll play a little bit and games where he'll play more than a little bit. And he just got to keep working and keep getting better in practice. And again, prepare himself for each game. And then for obviously what happens here in the off season. But it's been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal. I don't want to understate how hard that is to come in as a 17-year-old young man in December when the season's already, almost halfway through. So it's really been an incredible stretch for him.
Okay, Sean Dunnigan, up next.
Thanks, Chris. When we talked to Dwayne and Kyle and you asked them about, differences between the past few years and this year, it seems like they always say that the buy-in factor for the entire team is there this year. Have you seen that as a coach, that everybody's bought in? When did you see that, if you have? Just kind of interested in what you think about that.
I have, I know I've felt that from day one, but, that's also a fluid thing. And I think, last year we had really good buy-in, or else we wouldn't have finished 9-3. I think we went through some bumpy parts where guys were maybe trying to figure out roles a little bit in January, and then the schedule just got the best of us. But I thought we had really good buy-in in February and March leading into the tournament last year as well. I think that's always a fluid thing with every team, but up to this point, it's been a really positive thing. And, it's hard to quantify kind of the amount of points that gains you in a lot of ways. But there's no question it's a quantifiable figure for sure. And up to this point, our guys have been exceptional with that.
Thank you.
Okay, Tim Hall, next up.
Hey, Chris, I was just, looking back at things and thinking about it, and I'm wondering if maybe, CJ Walker and his play in the last 5 games since he came back is maybe getting lost in the shuffle here when we knew maybe you weren't fully expecting what he could give you back from the injury, but in different ways, he's been great, and you've won all 5 of these games. Just wonder if you could speak a little bit more to him and his play.
Well, I think, Timmy, it's a good point because it's a credit to him that he's been able to kind of come back, assimilate to a group that was winning some games and also helped us continue to perform at a really high level. He's given us some things on both ends that have been really good, but particularly, it allows us to play more guys. It provides us another paint touch threat, a ball handler, and a guy at the point of attack defensively that can really help us. And we need that from him. We don't have the ability collectively outside of CJ and Michi. We've not shown the ability to put great pressure on the ball from our guards, and that's affected our defense some. And he helps that. And then at the same time, I thought when he was out, there were some games where we clearly wore down. Our ball handling wore down. So just to have him back has been phenomenal. He's just been he's been who he is. I'm really happy to see him. He's still injured. His hand still bothers him, but he's managed to play well in spite of it.
He seems like he fits with the rest of the culture, being a leader, where he probably didn't raise too many issues with coming off the bench right now. Is that true?
No, we've talked about it. And, CJ wants to play. He wants to play like any young man. He wants to play minutes, and he's been in there in virtually almost every late game situation. Not all of them, but a lot of them late. He'll start other games. I'm sure he'll start on senior day. But he wants, he loves to play, and he loves his team.
Okay, Colin.
Hey, Chris, in these matchups that you've seen Zed go against, some of the better centers that you've faced, how have you seen him fare?
Good, really good. Really good. I think he's going to have a challenge tomorrow now with Trace and Race, both guys that are physical and big and long and terrific rebounders and built a little bit like he is. He'll have his hands full tomorrow, and he's still coming back from a little bit of an ankle sprain from the other day, but hopefully he'll be fully healthy on that. I think everybody understands how important our combination of forward/bigs have been, and he's been right there. We don't have a number of these wins without him.
And going back to CJ for a quick moment, I know when you talked initially about why you wanted to sit him out, a lot of it was the long-term benefits and for him to, be at his best once you guys near the postseason. Is he on that trajectory where he feels better, you guys feel better about him as you near that point?
He is, but I think some of that Colin was a situation where he just, he thought he might be able to be out for a little bit and manage it all right. And I think he just missed it so bad that he was like, hey, if I got to come back a little bit early, I got to come back a little bit earlier. I don't want to be out, for the last couple games of, I think everybody understands, this is his last year. He's going to go on and play professionally after this. And he wanted to play in every game. So I think he was balancing that with the normal health, and he had to get cleared by the doctor and, reevaluated by the hand surgeon, all that. But once he got the okay, I think he was just anxious to get back.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go back to Brendan.
Chris, what are the hallmarks in your mind of an Archie Miller coach team, and what makes this a unique challenge?
You know, they're always tough. They're always tough. They're always physical. And I think they always play really, really hard on both ends, but particularly defensively. In our short time playing against Indiana, that's really been that has really been the hallmark of the teams. And most of all of our games have went down to the wire. And you know, we've been fortunate on a couple wins for sure. But those are kind of I think the things that I think of. This year's team is good offensively and they're good defensively. And again, they're a veteran group, and you can tell that with the group that's played together a lot, and then a star in Trace.
Then as you've kind of watched them progress throughout the course of the year, as you guys advance scout, I know they've won a couple of really tight games, at the end of games, their last couple trips out. Where do you see them getting better that you guys really need to focus on?
I think their guard play has really helped them, and Race Thompson kind of coming into his own has really helped them. I think those are the kind of things they got a deep bench. They got a variety of guys that they can go to and that they do play. Hunter made a big shot for him. Hunter made a really big shot for him a couple days ago. So they just got a variety of guys, and they're a talented group. But I think Race and their guard play, Franklin kind of coming into his own. Finney's played really well. It's been, I think, that combination that's allowed him to have some really important wins here of late.
Okay, we'll wrap it up with Adam Jarney.
There's something I wanted to ask after the Maryland game, but just kind of ran out of time. Don't want to make too much of one game, but Justice had been in a pretty good spell, it seemed like, for a couple of games, and only played 17 minutes, and he didn't score, and it just didn't seem to maybe have it. Was that a matchup thing? Was there anything that he was dealing with in that game?
No, nothing dealing with. It was just, wasn't a great game, and I probably could have played him more. That was probably some of me. We just kind of rolled with the combination that was playing well. And I think he's got to play with some more, a little bit higher level motor. He understands that, but wasn't anything specific at all.
And had you seen that motor from him like the last several games? I mean, not just, we talked so much for you about his offense, but I mean, he's been more, it seemed like maybe a little more impactful defensively. I know he had 5 steals in the one game.
Yeah.
Have you seen a little bit more of that from him at that end?
Yeah, when he's playing well, absolutely. And in that stretch of games where he played exceptional, absolutely. It's a really key thing for him, because he's just a gifted player physically, but that's a huge thing for him, is his overall motor.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.